No. Tim sent me the iMac early. He's kind of cool guy. We're on like a first name basis now. Oh, hold on. I'll call you back. Hey, I didn't see you guys there. I'm just busy, working on my iMac 24-inch. Today's video is a little bit different. It's about, we're going to have a special guest today. It's going to be exciting. Okay. This is not real. What am I doing? So Apple just came out with their new iMacs, which are based on the M1 platform and their 24-inch. And in my opinion, I think they're gonna sell like hotcakes. I think they fit the gap for a lot of families that, just want to go pick up a computer that just does everything that they need to. It's one package, plug and play, comes with keyboard, mouse, everything. I think the iMac 24-inch is the perfect computer for that. But if you go to purchase the iMac on the Apple website, you're gonna see 3 different models, and when you click on those models, you're going to see more configuration options, and it can get a little bit confusing on which one you should buy. So that's what this video is all about. And in order to do that best, I reached out to my friend Matthew Moniz, who is an absolute legend when it comes to computer stuff, and I also wanted to get his opinion on the different specs and different models. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Hey, yeah, I can hear you. So I was talking to my audience right before this, and I was telling them, I just kind of want to go through some of these specs here to try to understand who I think the iMac is perfectly centered for, and I thought I'd get an expert opinion on the matter.
Then you have the wrong person.
Starting off, I guess, like for me, I personally look at this as like the perfect kind of like a family computer, right? Like the computer that like somebody doesn't want to worry about, like, getting a monitor, getting a keyboard and all this stuff. Just get plug and play, one and done, just get it, put it down, bam, whole family can use it.
Yeah, I mean, like if you need one computer for the house and everyone in the family is going to be taking turns using it, maybe your kid's using it for homework and then your mom comes on, she's using it for writing emails, then it makes sense because like the M1 chip is fantastic. But I think people have to think about the Mac, or at least the new iMac, as like the M1 repackaged differently, right? So, you have your MacBook Airs and your MacBook Pros where they're meant to be portable because they're laptops, but essentially at the end of the day, you're kind of still getting the same sort of performance, right? And then you have to think about, are you going to be stationary or are you going to be moving a lot? Because if you're going to be stationary, you get the benefits of what an iMac can offer, which is obviously a bigger display, built-in webcam, which is improved, and then the ability to have a lot more ports to use from. As a family computer, definitely. And I think the fact that they're offering all these different colors is a nice touch.
So it has the M1 chip. It seems to have like the same amount of like RAM options and everything like that. So is the only difference between like a MacBook Air and this is pretty much just a larger screen, the different port options, and like the colors and stuff like that? Is that what it is?
So I wanted to know exactly if there was like a higher TDP, and what I mean by TDP is like, is this version of the M1 and the iMac gonna have more heat pushed towards it so that you can ramp up the CPU to get better performance? And it's the exact same thing as the MacBook Pro and MacBook Air. I think it'll top out at like 28 watts, or even the Mac Mini rather. So you're not gonna see a difference in terms of performance.
Interesting.
It'll be kind of like the MacBook Pro, right? You have a bigger chassis, a bigger body. So like, let's say you're doing something crazy for 30 minutes where the CPU is constantly being pounded, then you'll get a little bit better performance than, let's say, the MacBook Air because there's no fan inside, right? But yeah, you're basically before you even buy this, like performance shouldn't even be on your mind because you're gonna get the exact same thing between all SKUs, whether it's a MacBook Air Pro or iMac. It's all about, what do you want? Do you want the better speakers, the bigger display, the more ports, the funky colors, stationary at home? Or do you want something that gives you the same thing, but you can run it on battery, take it to school, the list goes on. I will say this though, the MacBook Pro and Air hasn't been redesigned, so it doesn't have all the new features of a newer MacBook Pro. So that's kind of like one of the benefits the iMac has. It has, all the latest features in terms of like additional ports and speakers that Apple just released compared to previous products.
It's just kind of incredible to think that you go from like an iPad all the way to the iMac. They all have like the same chip apparently.
It's the same thing, but it's easy for Apple. Like that's the power of vertical integration. In some ways, it's not great because it locks you down and you're stuck in this ecosystem where some might never feel like they can get out. But the benefit to that is you can control everything, and that's why people like Apple, because it offers that like continuity between your devices, right? So that's the benefit of kind of like locking things down. And I think we're going to start seeing other companies starting to do that too, specifically like Google and Microsoft.
Do you think for the money, is this overpriced or is this priced just right?
When I first saw this come out, I thought maybe this would be, when I first saw the price, I was like, okay, it's really good. It's a great deal. I think it's fair, right? I don't think it's overpriced.
Yeah.
Let's say like other Apple products, but I think this is like a fair deal. Like I'm just looking at, the prices right now. $12.99 nets you, 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair considering that you're getting a 24-inch 4.5K display. You're getting, great speakers, a great webcam, all in one package. You're getting a keyboard and a mouse that comes in a box. So when you think about that, everything's included for that price.
Yeah.
It's great,
Interesting.
And it's fairly close to what their MacBook Pros are priced at too. So it's like, do you go one way or the other?
What about on the Windows front? Like if you were to compare to something on the Windows side.
So like the thing about Windows, it's like it all depends on the user, right? You either love Mac OS or you love Windows. So like it shouldn't affect your decision on the purchase. But on the Windows side, there's a lot more to choose from for the price. And now in terms of all-in-ones, no,
not
like
many. Yeah.
The Windows all-in-ones, except I still think to this day, and I'll stand by this, I still think the Microsoft Studio all-in-one is still the nicest looking all-in-one out there. But the majority of Windows all-in-ones they're nothing special, I think if you're looking at a Mac M1, you're either deciding you're either an enthusiast and you're okay building a PC or something, or you're going to buy a Windows laptop, right?
Yeah.
That would be your option between the Mac M1. I wouldn't buy a Windows all-in-one. They're really not that great.
So let's get into a little bit of like the nitty-gritty here, like so the specs, right? So I'm looking at the three different options, right off the bat. Apparently, Apple seems to think that yellow, orange, and purple are pro colors. So you have that differentiation right there. Like in terms of GPU, right? CPU seems to be same across the board. In terms of GPU, have you looked into this?
Yeah. So I've tested it between. Obviously I haven't tested on the iMac because I don't have one yet.
Of course,
but I tested it between the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro, and like the difference is not even noticeable.
Negligible,
like,
right? Yeah.
You're really not gonna notice it. It's so minor. You'd have to be like some sort of maniac who's like rendering videos all day, like nonstop. And I don't think that's really to do that with that one extra GPU core. I think that's more to do with like the cooling, right? Just because you can keep it cooler, you can run the TDP higher for longer, and therefore you'll get like shorter render times over an hour, right?
Yeah.
But if you render like a 5-minute video, you're barely going to see a difference between the entry-level MacBook iMac and let's say the next step up, which offers 8 cores instead of 7 cores for the GPU.
Okay, and the next question is, I guess, with the 2 extra ports. It's kind of disappointing that they went with 2 regular USB 3 ports. I was thinking it makes more sense to kind of just go with like a hub or a dock or something like that and spend your money there if you don't need the other items that you're getting with the extra USB ports. Any thoughts on that?
I agree. So like the reason why I agree is because like, for example, I have a big PC in the other room, right?
Yeah.
And it only comes with 2 USB Type-C ports or Thunderbolt 4 ports. But at the end of the day, like I already have a dock connected to one and that dock takes care of everything.
Yeah.
It has a SD card slot. There's tons of USB ports on it. And I don't find that it hinders my performance when I'm copying files over. Yeah. So I don't think spending extra money on just 2 more USB ports is really worth it.
Yeah.
And you could even get a dock with built-in Ethernet too, right? So like you can kind of justify it that way.
Yeah.
Some people might just want to spend an extra $200 to go up to the next one just for like the Touch ID.
I was going to say that.
keyboard,
I'm one of those people. I would probably spend extra.
Yeah, some people might, right?
ID.
Like I think the middle SKU, the one for $1,500 is would be like just above the regular user. I want those extra ports.
Yeah.
I want the gigabit Ethernet and I want Touch ID. And I guess the next question probably for a lot of people is like, should they spend a lot more on storage? Should they get more RAM?
Yeah. Those are the big ones. Yeah.
So the thing is, what kills me about Apple is they charge so much money for storage. It doesn't cost near that much in real life. Like
Tell me about it.
It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
And even RAM too. Honestly, I would probably get more RAM, even though 8 gigabytes has been good enough
Yeah.
for like everyday use. I think most people who are, let's say you're planning on buying this for editing video,
Yeah.
you know, or doing anything that requires, you know, more memory, then I would definitely go 16. And then I would probably just buy an external drive because you have 2 Thunderbolt ports, you know, like use one Thunderbolt port for your dock and then maybe the next one for like a really fast NVMe SSD external drive.
And would you need that 16 GB, for example, if you wanted to do something like run parallels and like have like Windows as well on your iMac? Yeah.
Virtualization? Absolutely. Like virtualization is all about RAM and CPU cores. So if you are running parallel, that's a great question actually. If you are running parallels, absolutely.
And of course, the very most important question of today: color. What color? Did you get one, by the way?
I do not have. Yes, I did order one. I just ordered the one that ships the fastest, which I think was. For me, it was like the sage green one.
Sage green one, yeah. The green one's nice.
Which is not my favorite.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like hospital colors, but it's a nicer version of that. It's more subtle. But if I had to choose one, I would definitely go purple. Like
purple.
I'm all about that purple.
Interesting. Okay.
How about you?
I went with the yellow one because I thought it would
Yep.
it would pop a little more for the thumbnails and all that
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely. It's gonna look sick on the thumbnails.
Yeah, but I think
You're just thinking about the video thumbnails.
There you go.
That's the smart move right there. Only thing I don't like about this iMac, which drives me crazy, and this is like my, you know, as a content creator speaking, is I don't mind the chin. I know a lot of people are hating on it.
The white bezel.
It's the white bezels. You know, like there's a reason why we're using black bezels. Right? The black bezels are there so that there's no reflection, there's no interruption when you're looking at the screen. Obviously, your eyes are going to adjust, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, the more expensive iMac when it comes out, or the iMac Pro, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be black or silver, right? Yeah. Space gray and silver, whatever you want to choose from. So, I mean, for you and I, it's not a big deal. And I think most people buying this don't care about the white bezels.
Okay.
I think it's more of like a pro thought.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For the average person that is watching this video, or the average person that is picking this up for, let's say, you know, just the average stuff that they're doing at home, maybe some viewing the kids are using and stuff like that. The exact spec that you would spec this out with.
Or like the average viewer, I would probably I would go with the one with 8 cores, the entry level one, so 8 core CPU, 7 core GPU, and if it's like your kids, if everybody in the family is using it, then all I would upgrade, and I hate to do that. Well, I guess it doesn't matter because between RAM and storage save, all I would upgrade is the storage. That's it.
Yeah, maybe go to
512 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd call it a day. 8 gigabytes will be more than enough for like general use. You know, if you start editing video and doing other stuff, then there's a story behind 16. But I think for like the average family, base model 512 gigabytes, call it a day.
Yeah.
Or you can even stick with 256 and then spend the extra money, the $200 on like a 1 terabyte external NVMe SSD. That would be the other option.
That's a good point. Yeah, they could definitely do that.
And you'd save money. You save like $50, right? And you get more space too. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
For those of you guys watching, I'm going to be linking Matt's channel down below. Go check that out. Very fun to watch. Just check his channel out. Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, so I hope you guys found that video beneficial. I, for one, did. I'm going to be linking Matt's channel down below. Please go ahead and show him some love. And on that note, make sure you guys like this video, sub to the channel, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care. Stay blessed. Peace.